A few winters ago, I woke up to find my dog shivering on the porch. His expensive, supposedly weatherproof doghouse had flooded during the night. I was absolutely furious. Finding an outdoor doghouse that actually survives real weather is, well, it's a total nightmare. So I spent the last few months personally testing the most popular options out there. Some cracked, some leaked, but a few actually surprised me. Stick around because the one that took the top spot, yeah, it's definitely not what you'd expect. 6. Fancyango Large Dog House. Look, when you order something labeled as a large outdoor shelter, you expect a certain level of heft to it. Unboxing this thing, I immediately noticed how incredibly light the plastic felt. I mean, my dog Buster is an 80-pound lab mix, and just looking at the side panels made me question if this was going to hold up to him bumping into it. The assembly was entirely snapped together, which sounds great in theory, but in practice, it's kind of a problem. Those seams where the plastic pieces click into place are basically just open invitations for water. I left this out during a moderate Tuesday rainstorm, and sure enough, water had pooled right in the back corners. Then there's the insulation, or rather, the complete lack of. It's essentially a single layer of thin plastic separating your dog from the freezing wind. If you live somewhere with actual winters, this is just not going to cut it. I actually put a digital thermometer inside overnight, and the temperature was barely 2 degrees warmer than the open air outside. And let's talk about stability. Because it's so lightweight, a strong gust of wind literally shifted it 3 feet across my patio. You absolutely have to anchor this down, but the provided anchor points feel like they could snap if you pull them too hard. If you need a cheap indoor shelter for your garage or maybe something for a covered enclosed porch, it's passable. But for true exposed outdoor use, I'd honestly skip it. 5. Drato Dog House. I really wanted to love this one because the elevated design is such a smart concept. Getting the floor off the cold, wet ground is step 1 in keeping a dog warm. When I put it together, it definitely looked like a step up from the Fancyango. But actually putting it together was a massive headache. Let me explain. The pre-drilled holes for the screws were misaligned on almost every single panel. I spent an hour trying to force the roof bracket to sit flush, and it still ended up sitting slightly crooked. If you aren't handy or don't have a power drill to make your own holes, you're going to be incredibly frustrated. Once I finally got it standing, the waterproof material did exactly what it claimed to do. Rain just beads right off the roof and sides, but that creates a completely different problem. Because the material doesn't breathe at all, condensation builds up on the inside ceiling. After a cold night, Buster came out with his coat slightly damp just from the trapped moisture dripping down on him. The floor panels also have a bit of flex to them. When Buster stepped inside, I could hear the plastic floor bowing and creaking under his paws. He hesitated to go in after that because dogs hate unstable surfaces. I ended up having to stuff a piece of plywood underneath to give it rigid support. Ketive Dog House. The moment I pulled this out of the box, I could feel the difference in quality. We are stepping away from thin plastics and moving into real, substantial materials. The roof on this thing is covered in actual asphalt shingles, just like a real house. One of the biggest issues I've had with Buster is that he loves to chew on the entrance of his dog houses. The Ketive actually has chew-resistant metal wrapping around the door frame and the critical edges. He gave it a few test nibbles the first day, realized it wasn't fun, and completely left it alone. That feature alone is worth its weight in gold. But the feature I use the most is the openable roof. You know how awful it is trying to crawl halfway into a doghouse to scrub out muddy paw prints? With this, you just pop the roof open on its hinges, spray it down, and let it air dry in the sun. It takes me 5 minutes to clean, compared to the sweaty wrestling match I had with the previous models. During my weather testing, the asphalt roof completely deadened the sound of heavy rain. Some plastic houses sound like a drum line during a storm, which terrifies dogs. Inside the Ketive, it was quiet, dark, and perfectly dry. The drafts were virtually non-existent because the wood panels fit together tightly. This is a fantastic middle ground option. 3. Bifanuo Dog House. Now, look, I didn't think I cared about how a doghouse looked until I put this one in my backyard. It has this incredible furniture-style aesthetic that actually adds to your outdoor space instead of looking like a giant plastic eyesore. The weight of the Bifanuo is deeply reassuring. Once you set this down, it stays exactly where you put it. We had 30-mile-per-hour winds last week, and this thing didn't even flinch. The heavy-duty materials mean the walls are thick, providing a really solid barrier against the cold. It also features a lockable door, which I honestly didn't think I would use, but it turned out to be incredibly handy. When I was hosting a backyard barbecue and needed Buster to chill out for 20 minutes while people were eating, I could safely secure him in his own comfortable space. He didn't mind it at all because the ventilation gaps keep the air flowing beautifully. The elevated base on this model is executed perfectly. Unlike the Drato, the floor here is rock solid. There's zero bowing or creaking. Buster walked right in with total confidence. I threw a thick orthopedic bed inside, and he honestly prefers sleeping in there during the day over coming inside the house. It just feels incredibly premium. Yes, it's a bit of an investment, and you might need to touch up the paint after a few harsh winters, but the structural integrity is undeniable. I highly, highly recommend it. Number 2. Vixzen Outdoor Dog House. I did not expect to love this one as much as I did, but it absolutely blew me away during testing. If you want something that just works flawlessly right out of the box with zero fuss, this is your winner. First off, the assembly took me exactly 12 minutes. I actually timed it. Everything clicked into place perfectly. The screws lined up and the instructions actually made sense. After the nightmare I had with earlier models, putting the Vixzen together felt like a vacation. But the real magic is in the weatherproofing. I left this out in a torrential sideways downpour, the kind of rain that usually finds a way into everything. When the storm passed, I opened the roof. Yes, it also has that amazing hinged roof, and ran my hand along the floor. It was bone dry. Not a single drop made it past the overhangs or the seams. The airflow design is also brilliant. It has adjustable ventilation that you can slide open during the summer to let the heat escape and seal shut during the winter to trap the warmth. It completely eliminates that damp, wet dog smell that usually permanently attaches itself to outdoor shelters. I honestly considered giving this the #1 spot. It's practical, it's tough, and it's completely zero maintenance. The only reason it didn't take the crown is because the next product does something completely unique that pushes it over the edge. Agitree Outdoor Wooden Pet House. This isn't just a dog house. It is basically a tiny luxury log cabin for your dog. From the moment I put it together, I knew the search was officially over. The biggest game changer here is the true insulation. Most brands say they are weather resistant, but the Agitree is 100% insulated inside the walls. I ran my thermometer test again on a freezing 20-degree night. With just Buster's body heat inside, the temperature stayed a cozy 55 degrees. That is a massive, life-saving difference for an outdoor dog. And then there's the window. I know it sounds ridiculous, but having a shatterproof window built into the side of the doghouse is genius. Dogs can get claustrophobic in dark boxes, and they naturally want to guard their territory. Buster spends hours just laying inside looking out his little window at the yard. It keeps him protected from the wind while still letting him keep an eye on things. The build quality is just phenomenal. It's made from treated, weather-resistant wood in this really sharp gray and white finish. It doesn't just block rain, it actively resists rot and sun damage. The floor is raised, the roof is slanted perfectly to shed snow, and the hinges are heavy-duty stainless steel that won't rust out after one season. Look, finding the right outdoor house is stressful when you care about your dog's safety, but the Agitree solves every single problem I had.